What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my breakdown of the new Jehanna Desert banner. And here we have got Ike. So we did see him in the silhouette, and this time he is a lance infantry unit, and he's not going to be slow like Emblem Ike. He's probably going to be fast with above 45 speed, as we can see with the effects that he has got. So here he's going to be getting attacked by Ginunga Gap, and he has got Swirling Lance as his preferred weapon. So this gives him minus on special cooldown, making Aether's Path a 3 cooldown special. And at sort of both player phase and enemy phase, he gives himself and the allies in 2 spaces the +6 speed and defense buff, and a new status, which is basically like a half frozen status. So it increases the speed necessary for foe to make a follow-up attack by 10 in the combat. You could even call this a rift effect, as it is present in those rift skills, but I think I'm going to refer to this as half frozen. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. So this effect is going to be helping a lot of tanks that have good speed, and as we have seen with Attuned Chimera, this helps a ton. So he can give this out to the other allies as well, so even if his combat falls off, I think he's still going to be having this kind of niche where he can give the other allies the support. And you also get Null Panic to yourself and the allies in 2 spaces, which is also helpful for tanking because Larather is everywhere and he can inflict map-wide panic. So I found that Null Panic is extremely useful nowadays, and if he's within 3 spaces of an ally, then he's able to get +14 to all of his stats, which is pretty standard. And he also gets the true damage based on 20% of his speed, and he also gets the flat damage reduction from foes' attacks based on 20% of his speed. And this is not just on the foe's first attacks, this is on all attacks. So the flat damage reduction is extremely helpful, and then he has the 50% damage reduction piercing built in his weapon so that he can run LAGUZ Loyalty and still have some piercing. So this weapon is not the craziest, but still, the fact that you're able to give this half frozen status to other allies is really good in my opinion. And then he has got Aether's Path as his preferred special. So this is a 4 cooldown special, but it becomes a 3 cooldown special with his weapon. And unlike any other Aether, this functions a bit differently. So when the special triggers, your damage is going to be boosted by 75% of greater of foe speed or defense. So if they're a really bulky enemy, then their defense is going to be considered, and if they are a very fast nuke, then their speed is going to be considered. So it's a dynamic special, which I really like, and it restores 50% of units' maximum HP. So keep in mind, unlike the regular Aethers, this doesn't heal up your HP based on the damage you have done. It heals you up based on the 50% of your HP, which is much better. And this is going to be giving good self-sustain to Ike. And then he has got a bunch of effects in his special. So he has got the Null Guard effect, which does help him trigger his special always. And he also has the Deep Wounds effect by 50%. So even when he's inflicted by the Deep Wounds effect, he's still going to be healing up some HP, like 25% of his max HP. And he also has Null Counter Disrupt built in his special, which was needed because he couldn't run Null Counter Echo in his Attune slot like Attuned Chimera, because then he would be losing his special. So having this built in the special already is really good. And then finally, he has got some unpierceable damage reduction. So basically, you're going to be getting 30% unpierceable damage reduction if your special is at 3 cooldown, which it will be with his kit. But if your special has triggered during the combat, then it becomes 50% unpierceable damage reduction. So this is extremely strong, along with the flat damage reduction of his weapon, with the healing that he has got, and also the half frozen effect that he has got in his weapon. So this is going to be making him one of the best Omni tanks in the game, and I do think that he's on the level of Attuned Chimera. When it comes to tanking, I think he is a bit better than Chimera, but Chimera has got insane damage with Sandstorm, which he doesn't have. So both of them are going to be competing for that infantry omni tank spot, but he is quite competent. But if you already have Attuned Chimera, I'm not sure if you should go out of your way to get him. I guess the supportive effect can be nice, but the tanking potential from the looks seems to be pretty good. And he has got Distant Bonus Doubler, which is good because he can retaliate back to any kind of Lin Ring user. And he already has Null Counter Disrupt in his weapon. So even if they have any kind of sweep effect, he's still going to be able to retaliate. And then we have got LAGUZ Loyalty. This is an inhittable skill, and this is not exactly an upgraded version of LAGUZ Friend. This is like a side grade in my opinion. So this is the LAGUZ Friend for the speedy units basically. You would run this on units that do not have a lot of defense or resistance to get the flat damage reduction out of LAGUZ Friend, and instead you just have more speed on them. So you run LAGUZ Loyalty instead on them because the flat damage reduction you get out of it is going to be scaling based on your speed, but the true damage is going to be limited. So it is going to be +7 true damage, and it also doesn't have any kind of damage reduction piercing on your special triggers. So you're going to be missing that, and that's why Ike comes with the 50% damage reduction piercing in his weapon. So you're not going to be having all the effects of LAGUZ Friend, and that's why I don't think this is like a full upgrade. And this is mainly there for the faster units who would have liked to run maybe the spiked wall skill, but now they can run this instead and get a lot more flat damage reduction, and also get the pulse effect before the foe's first attack. And this always works with godlike reflexes or any kind of defensive special, but if you have an offensive special, then its cooldown must be 3 or more. So do not run very low cooldown specials with LAGUZ Loyalty. And it also has the other half of the frozen effect where it decreases the speed necessary for you to make a follow-up attack by 10. So this goes really well with the support that I can give with his status, with his weapon, and this way he's able to have the full frozen effect at the limit of 10. So I do like it a lot on him, and many units are going to be lacking LAGUZ Loyalty if they already have any kind of other way of damage reduction piercing like in their weapon or special. So this skill is going to be useful for some of the units, and the fact that it doesn't give you the full damage reduction piercing might be a detriment for many people. And then he has got another new skill in Time Pulse Edge. So this is Time Pulse 4, but basically it gives you the bonus to your attack and speed in the combat depending on your maximum special cooldown count value +2. So the higher special you have, the more buffs you'll get. So I guess this is also a decent skill if you were running Time Pulse 4 on a high cooldown special unit. Probably only worth running if you're running a special that's cooldown is 3 or more, because at that point you get at least some significant buffs. If you have very low cooldown special like a 1 cooldown special, then again you're not going to be getting much out of it. So like I said, I think that Desert Ike is going to be one of the best Omni tanks in the game, the infantry Omni tanks, and he's going to be up there with Attuned Chimera, and he is going to be extremely bulky, but he's not going to be having the insane damage output that she has got with the Sandstorm. But his frozen, like half frozen status effect is really good for the support. And then we have got Desert Malice. I didn't really expect her, but I'm happy that she got an ult. So she's again a sword infantry unit this time. Hopefully she gets a good refine in the future. So here we are going to be seeing the theme of the desert weapons this year. She has got Swirling Scimitar, and this gives her -1 special cooldown, making Gust into a 2 cooldown special. And this has got Phantom Speed +7 built in. And at sort of both player phase and enemy phase, you give yourself and the allies in 2 spaces the +6 attack and speed buff, the dodge status, and the null debuff status. So the dodge status has definitely fallen off with its damage reduction being so pierceable, but still dodge does give you the damage reduction against the AoE specials, so it can help certain units at times, but still this is pretty good for the support. And the null debuffs is also really helpful nowadays because we have so many units that can easily debuff you, and then they get the other effects. And she gets extra attack, speed, defense, and resistance depending on the dragon flowers you have given her. So if you give her no dragon flowers, then she gets +10 to all of her stats. And if you give her just 1 dragon flower, then she gets +14. So not that hard to get the full +14 for her weapon. And she also has the -2 special cooldown preempt pulse before foe's first attack. So this is the style of a LAGUZ friend skill. And the reason why I say that is because you get special cooldown -2 before foe's first attack and not before your first attack. So this is going to be helping you defensively. It is basically going to be helping you, charge up your Gust or like godlike reflexes and stuff like that. So like I said, it is more of a defensive preempt pulse in a way compared to the offensive preempt pulse that we have seen. And she also gets the flat damage reduction on foes' first attacks, including the brave hits, by 25% of her speed. So the flat damage reduction is nice, but unfortunately this is only on the first hit. So you'll have to run something like null follow-up and make sure that she doesn't get doubled. And then she also has damage reflection, which is strong. This is the good damage reflection, which means that this can stack up with any kind of other damage reduction. So this is not the limited scope damage reflection of Calyx's Weapon Refine or Petrine's Weapon Refine. And then she gets 7 HP healing after the combat. So the damage reflection is always a really strong effect because you can try and run this with units that can give you Miracle, like Ymir and Fallen Maria, who have definitely come back in the meta with the Lin Ring. And with the damage reflection, you're able to do a lot of damage back to the enemy and a lot of times kill them. And I'd love to get this kind of effect on so many units compared to the other effects, which are easily outsourceable. So Malice seems like a decent sword unit, but of course there is way too much competition. Her, flat damage reduction isn't on that level of Ike, and she does have Gust, which is going to be making use of the Phantom Speed. And then she's got the Prime skill. So Prime skills have definitely fallen off a bit. You can just run Distant Counter, Dragon Sacred Seal, Melee Sacred Seal, or Distant Counter Echo. And Prime, does give you the stats, but that's pretty much it. But you do need a lot more status effects to fully activate it. And then she's got Attack Speed Spiked Wall. So this is a skill which a lot of fast units can run, which don't have the best, defense or resistance. And this way you're able to get some flat damage reduction and true damage. And this can definitely be helpful on a lot of the brave weapon users. Overall, I feel like a lot of people are going to be running LAGUZ Loyalty on their speedy units with Tempo Echo to get the damage reduction piercing, which it is missing. And there is an overlap with Spiked Wall and Tempo Echo. So not, I guess, as many units would want to run Spiked Wall, but still, many of the brave attacking units do have the application with it, and you also get the Bulwark blocking. And then we have got Tethys, the 4-star focus of the banner. She was also on the silhouette. She is a colorless flying dagger, and she is another demote with a tier 4 skill. So I guess this has become a norm, which I honestly love. We should have these kinds of 4-star focuses on the seasonal banners, giving you the tier 4 seasonal skills, and it just makes it a lot easier. And she has got Jehanna Dagger Plus. It is an inhittable dagger which has a lot of the effects of Malice's weapon. So it has got the Phantom Speed +7, it gives you +6 speed and +6 attack, dodge, and the null debuffs to yourself and the allies in 2 spaces at sort of both player phase and enemy phase. It also gives you +5 to all of your stats and has got 7 flat damage reduction on foe's first attack and full damage reflection. And that last part is what makes it a really, really good dagger. And keep in mind that this is an inhittable dagger. This is not even an arcane weapon, and the damage reflection is so helpful, like I said, with all of these miracle support units. And this is a dagger, which means that you can run the Lin Ring and then be easily supported by Ymir or Fallen Maria, and then just survive with the miracle and do so much damage to the enemy to kill them. So this is a fantastic inhittable dagger in my opinion. One of the best, if not the best, inhittable dagger that we have got right now, outside of the arcane weapons. So this could be given, and Firestorm Dance 3 is going to be giving you the Desperation status and gives Canto 1 to the Dancer. So she already buffs up the attack and speed with her weapon. It does overlap a bit, but still this is a good skill, and I would argue that this has also gotten its value increased now with the Lin Ring, because I've been using Plumeria and Peony in my Mythic cores, and I just run them with Firestorm Dance, and then they give Desperation to any kind of dual strike or triangle attack unit that I'm using as a nuke with the Lin Ring. And if the enemy doesn't have Hardy Bearing, then they get the quad hits with the Desperation, and they trigger Astra on the 4th hit. So Desperation can be really helpful now with those kinds of units. And she also has Guidance 3 as a bridge fodder, which is definitely not bad. She has the regular dance. I hope that she has got good enough resistance like regular Tethys so that she could run the ploy skills, maybe run the sabotage skills, discord skills, stuff like that. And because she is a dagger unit, she can of course run the dagger, disarm dagger skills. And then finally we have got Desert Harmonic Marisa as an Axe Cavalier, and she is gonna be the star of the banner in many ways because of her supportive effect. So as we can see, she is squad attacking here, and she's got Laconic Axe as her preferred weapon. This gives you -1 special cooldown, and it also has Canto 2 built in. So Sigurd Ring is not necessarily needed for the Canto, and it also gives Omni +4 to the allies in 3 rows and 3 columns centered on her. So a nice little bit of support. And for the target ally, that is in 3 rows and 3 columns centered on Marisa, and if their savior effect is not triggered, then they're able to get the brave effect. And the target ally is decided by the support partner, so you could ally support an ally, and if you do not have any kind of support partner, then it targets the ally with the highest HP. So you could technically try and HP match your units and make sure that they have all got the same HP so that they all can get the dual phase brave effect. But giving this to any kind of unit is so incredible. This is really powerful because imagine Brave Felix with quad attacks. Imagine Attuned Temera with the brave attacks. And this is really helpful for the tanks because they can try and kill things a lot more easily, and it also helps many of the nukes because they can also get past these annoying near save units or far save units by getting this brave effect. And if you're using a Lin Ring nuke, then I do think that Winter Cordelia and Bridal Catria or Ice Stripe, they are probably a bit better as you're going to be staying near your allies. But for any kind of other unit that is going to be going some distance, having this brave effect is incredible. And Marisa herself gets the dual phase brave effect, so she can function nicely as a nuke, but mainly she's going to be used as a supportive unit. And keep in mind that the dual phase brave effect support that she gives is not going to be triggered if you trigger a save skill. So technically you could still have the save skill, but just use your armor as an Omni tank. Like you could use Nidhogger as an Omni tank and just give her the brave hits, and as long as she's not saving anyone, she gets the dual phase brave effect. So that is something you need to keep in mind. And I hope that they can give us more player phase armor skills so that we can make better use out of this. And then for her own combat, she's able to get the +14 to all of her stats, and she also has the true damage based on 20% of her speed, and has the flat damage reduction from foes' first attacks including the brave hits based on 20% of her speed as well. And she has got Null Guard, so that goes really well with the brave effect that she has got so that she can trigger the specials, and she also heals up 7 HP after the combat. So like I said, she can be a good nuke, but mainly you're going to be using her as a support unit so that your other units can get the brave effect, and getting that is incredible on those kinds of units because we didn't really have a unit like this, and her range is also so big. The only thing that is going to be stopping your unit from the brave hits is going to be the feud effect, basically. So that's something you'll need to watch out for. Then she has got Moonbow, and she doesn't really have a preferred skill. She does have Attack Speed XL, which is good, and Assault Force, which is inhittable by only melee flyers and melee cavaliers. So a lot of units don't get this, but the ones that do, this is a really good skill because this is going to be working in the player phase always, and in the enemy phase you need to be within 2 spaces of an ally, so it debuffs the enemy for -4 speed and defense. It also has the null debuffs effect, so it has completely neutralized any kind of debuffs on your unit, and it also gives you true damage based on 20% of your greater speed or defense. So any kind of fast cavalier or bulky cavalier could use this, and it also gives you 50% damage reduction piercing. So if your cavalier or flyer is not able to run no quarter that effectively, then you can still get the piercing out of the skill and also get some true damage in the process. And the null debuffs is always helpful defensively and offensively. So overall, this is a really good skill. I hope that we can get Tempo Force at some point. I really want to have that for my Brave Salif. Getting the tempo effect on these cavaliers would be nice. But yeah, getting the true damage and the piercing at the same time is pretty solid. And then she has got Outspeed Wave 4 for the full now follow-up, so that she can get that, and Quad Attack And because she's a harmonic unit, she is going to be affecting the units that are from Sacred Stones and 3 houses. And there are a lot of strong 3 houses units, and even Sacred Stone units, I would argue at this point. A lot of alts, and we have got Newer Tana. We also have Winter for Mortis. I mean, he's not going to be going out there, but still. So their harmonic skill is going to be giving you +1 movement, and it also gives the resonant blades and the unhindered movement status. So it is really good offensively, and it could be used every other turn. So this also has applications in Summoner duels. We also have Desert Saber, and he is a Lance Infantry unit. I'm glad that he got an ult because he deserves an ult for being such a cool character, and we have finally got some Shadows of Valentia content. So he has got Speed Defense Finish 3 and Shield Pulse 3. So Shield Pulse is going to be bridge fodder for buffer, but not a lot of units are going to be running it to begin with as it's pierceable damage reduction. And then he does have exactly the same weapon as Tethys, but in the Lance version, I thought they would maybe increase the flat damage reduction to like 10 because this is a melee weapon. But still, this is a really good lance, and you should be using this lance until we get the 3rd Arcane Lance, because honestly, it even gives competition to the existing Arcane Lances that we have got, and I really like the damage reflection that is built in this weapon. And you also get the Phantom Speed +7 and the flat damage reduction, which is really good, along with the damage reflection itself. So I'll be going more in depth as we get more stats. And we also have Solid Ground as the Sacred Seal. So this is good news for Emblem Sigurd. And for everyone else, nothing really changes because there are not a lot of AoE nukes that are defense based other than him that are meta, in my opinion. But still, yeah, any kind of physical unit who has got higher defense can try and use this if they want to try an AoE nuke. Overall, this banner is strong because of Marisa giving you the Brave effect, and Ike is also not bad as an Omni tank, but a Hero Rises is going to be coming up, and also an Emblem Hero. And this month we also have a double Mythic banner or double Mythic Legendary banner, so you could try and see what it holds, because there are going to be some really strong banners coming up. And there's also going to be the Valentine banner, which is also going to be revealed before this Desert banner goes away. And last year on the Valentine banner, we got a monster named Duo Leon, so it might also have a really strong unit. But when it comes to being meta influential, this banner is mainly going to be there with the Marisa's Brave effect. That is always going to be helpful. I want to thank all of my team members for their constant support, and you can click the link on the screen right now to check out the new Vault of Heaven Ether Raids video I have put out that I'm resuming from this year. And make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as Marisa's Brave effect on a unit that triggers save. So with that said, let's see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.